In our first story here on News Today, striking Polytechnic Teachers Association of Ghana has told Joy News a meeting between itself on Tuesday with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education was positive. According to POTAG, according to them, POTAG had the education minister shown such composure and listening ear as the Select Committee on Education did, its members would not have gone on strike. Polytechnic Teachers Association of Ghana have been on strike for 2 months now over their unpaid book and research allowance, forcing polytechnics across the country to shut down. Interim forensic audit report cited by Joy News indicates the Kolebu Teaching Hospital was in 2013 deprived of 140,776.3 Ghana cedis meant for development projects. The audit, which covered the period between January 2012 and December 2013, was in response to allegations and reports of misappropriation of funds at Kolebu, Ghana's biggest referral hospital. But Director of Pharmacy at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Elizabeth Bruce, who spoke with myself on the AM show, said the report is false. We, as a country, in 2013, we were shortchanged 140,776.30. Is this true?
It is not true.
How so?
It is not true because they are interpreting the documents they have. They haven't come to us for an explanation on it because there is an explanation for that shortfall. We buy drugs from 2 sources. We buy direct from the distributors, and there is a document called store receipt advice that we attach to every payment. And then we also, this special unit they are talking about also takes drugs from the hospital stores, and that one there's no stores receipt advice issued on it. So if you use stores receipt advice to just compare with your purchases, you think that some excess stock has come from somewhere. And that is what has been computed to be that difference which they cannot account for. So if they had taken a little time for us to sit down, they would have had the explanation.
That's all that you're saying, but why has it got to be that the auditor has got a lot of things wrong with the operations at the pharmacy? It seems as though the auditor hasn't done well. It seems as though the discrepancies the auditor has observed, according to you, are all false.
They are false because I think that they have rushed through this report. They should just have taken time. We, as I've said, we are always audited, and the auditors sit with us and trash out, and then finally what is really should stay on the report stays, and it goes, and it even goes to PAC. We haven't reached there. So, in fact, in one breath, they talk about the pharmacy department as a cash cow of the hospital. In fact, we have done our best. There are so many projects around the hospital that monies from these operations have come to finance. We haven't complained. And I must say that my staff have always been on me that we work and give the money out and deprive the department of a lot of things. In this same report, if you read along the line, you see that they said the manufacturing unit has been underutilized. Why has it been underutilized? It's been underutilized because we've designed our project, we know what we want to do, but the monies that we've generated, on average every year, over 2 million cedis is drawn from this small account, even not the department, to use by the hospital. And we've been deprived of the funds. Even when government does retooling, we are left out. So what should we do?
Meanwhile, the pharmacy department of the same hospital says they are currently running out on magnesium sulfate for treating pregnancy complications. Director of that department, Elizabeth Bruce, added they cannot provide the drugs for other facilities that depend on them.
But it's a problem which is everywhere. Everybody is looking for it. We need a particular drug. In fact, Kolebu has the capability to produce it, but we don't have the powder, and it's so difficult to source for it. The few distributors that have the drug, there's so much demand for it because it's not only Kolebu. So the little we get, we take.
So then, what happens now? Should someone needs the
we have our emergency stocks that we are using. We have not run out completely, but we don't have it normally that anybody can get. For emergencies, we have, but we are still making the effort to get for everybody. That we will not check our responsibility.
What efforts are you making towards that?
We have just gone through our procurement exercise, and one company has won. Apparently, it's at the port, so we are waiting to receive it. Whilst we have made arrangement to import the powder directly to also produce locally in the hospital to support.
Let's turn attention to some party politics now. And the National Disaster Management Organization boss, Kofi Portafi, has assured party faithfuls he will ensure the NDC will continue to stay in power if voted as national chairman of the party. He vowed to unify the party at the official launch of his campaign to contest the position in elections to be held in October this year.
Kofi Portafi at the launch said his campaign will be based on 4 thematic areas: unity, teamwork, accessibility and victory in the 2016 general elections. According to him, unity in the party is hanging on a thin thread and needs strengthening so as to restore the confidence of supporters. He says teamwork is crucial if the party is to retain power in the 2016 general elections. Kofi Portafi was, however, worried about the inaccessibility to the party's higher hierarchy and vowed to change the trend.
The lack of access of information and leadership has nearly ruined the confidence in leadership. It has not only created suspicion, but heightened suspicion among our people. I shall endeavor as chairman to make myself available to everybody in the party 24/7, and will encourage not only members of the national executives, but also all other members of the party to make themselves accessible at whatever level they find themselves in leadership. I will offer sincere, honest, transparent, committed, as well as accountable leadership on my election as chairman. I am sure our party shall rise with hope for the men, women, youth, as well as those living with disabilities.
Some members of parliament, regional chairmen, chiefs and party faithful were at the launch to support his bid.
Let's talk about this national executive race for a bit now. Pollster and editor of Daily Dispatch newspaper, Ben Epson, has joined me over the telephone. Hello, Ben. You're welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers.
How do we see the race for national executive position in the NDC panning out?
I think that basically there's a need to recognize that, unlike the MPP, which has 2 main factions, that is Kufuor, Alan, and Akufo-Addo factions, the NDC seems to be having 3 factions emerging: the Rawlings faction, Moores faction, and the Mama faction. So I suspect that people are now announcing their bid for the various positions, and as time gets on, you will see that the various factions should be throwing their support behind some of the main candidates. Quite a bit of it will be known. You know, I think they are supposed to have constituency and regional elections, and that will give you an idea of which faction is holding sway, will hold sway in the national election.
What are we expecting? A fierce race, closely contested?
For some of the positions, so for only 2 persons would have announced their intention. Concerning the chairmanship, I think that 3 persons have announced their intention. That is the incumbent cabinet, Mr. Dabo Dati and Mr. Kofi Portafi. But for the other positions, they are virtually 2 persons. And I think that, and then unlike the MPP, the numbers involved for the NDC is relatively small. They will gather at one place. So it is very different from the 154,000 who will vote across the 10 regions. So it's going to be very interesting and very concentrated in terms of shoulder to shoulder, and it could signal a division or otherwise, depending on how it's conducted.
And do we read as into this as more people to contest for the chairmanship race?
If you look at the three persons, it is possible that of the three, the person who is more strategic could have an idea that, look, my main opponent's stronghold is in this region. So let me get somebody who's also well known to contest as a member and split those votes in those regions. That could be very possible. Because with the limited number and having the regional and constituency elections before then, a strategic aspirant could be able to have an idea of where he's losing ground, and let's support a candidate to try and split votes in those regions where he's not popular.
Thank you very much, Ben. We'll leave our conversation here for now. Ben Epson is a poster and editor of the Daily Dispatch. Now, participants at an Institute of Economic Affairs Forum in Ho in the Volta region have expressed the view that the winner-takes-all policy of governance is troubling the nation's development. They were contributing to the debate on whether the winner-takes-all system of governance should be abolished as adopted by the IEA Winner-Takes-All Advisory Committee. Kamala Ado was present and filed this report.
Professor William Ahaji, a member of the Winner-Takes-All Advisory Committee, said the winner-takes-all system has led to the creation of a sabotage of the national agenda. He added the policy is only serving partisan and selfish interests of some politicians. He criticized the municipal and district assembly elections, saying they are only made to benefit party supporters and loyalists. He also said institutions such as the Electoral Commission, NCCE, Shraj and Council of State appointees are politicized. Professor Ahaji, however, suggested power sharing be adapted in the electoral formula when presidential candidates do not attain 100% instead of a runoff. Minority parties' exclusion from governance was also cited as one of the reasons for slow national development. The participants drawn from the Eastern and Volta regions included public and civil servants, security personnel, traditional leaders, members of disabled society, and the clergy. Kamala Ado's report for Joy News.
Now, the Gushegu District Street Naming Exercise, an offshoot of the National Street Naming and Address Program, has received the backing of traditional authorities in the area. The street naming and property numbering policies aimed at ensuring harmonization, consistency, efficiency, and standardization of street addressing systems in the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. It is also hoped the project will increase revenue and improve urban management. Hashmin Mohammed has more.
The exercise holistically intends to design an easy identification and proper planning of physical structures within each and every metropolitan, municipal and district assembly in the country. It also intends to create a harmonious environment for business transactions to accelerate economic growth. At a one-day stakeholder meeting in Gushegu to assess the extent of work done towards meeting the September deadline set by the President, Secretary to the Regent of Gushegu, Alhassan Yakubu, said, considering the immense benefit that the exercise is going to bring to the people of Gushegu, traditional authorities in the area have pledged all their support to ensure that the exercise becomes a success. District Chief Executive of Gushegu, Alhaji Alhassan Faseni, tells Joy News the Assembly has to roll out measures towards achieving the September end deadline set by the President. He mentioned mapping of streets and consultative meetings and sensitization of the inhabitants and opinion leaders in the district.
We have started mapping out the route, and from there we'll pull the rules together and look at stakeholder consultations. That's what we have done. The consultations have been done. We have sensitized the opinion leaders and the chiefs, their views, and we'll be coming back to them after collation of the data on this particular mapping that we have done, so that we can have some argument and counter argument to have it sorted out for the proper names to be given to our names that we have started mapping up.
Hashmin Mohammed's report from the northern region.
Thank you very much for staying on here on News Today. Staff of the Tema Oil Refinery have appealed to President John Mahama to save the refinery from collapse. They say the refinery is bleeding with a daily loss of 350,000 Ghana cedis due to the shutdown. The refinery's crude distillation unit plant was shut down in 2011 due to TOR's inability to obtain letters of credit from its bankers to purchase crude oil for production. The refinery's inability to raise the LCs was as a result of an operation framework between the commercial banks and the Bank of Ghana that restricted the banks from raising LCs beyond a certain limit, depending on the business structure. Explaining acting managing director of TOR, Dr. Alphonse Doku, in 2011. Right, Daniel Fugas, chairman for the Senior Staff Association of the Tema Oil Refinery. Try and understand the matters they have raised here. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, madam.
Daniel, you're welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hello, Daniel.
Yes.
You're welcome to the program. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you. I can hear you now. Thank you.
Right. Tell us about this concern you're raising about the near collapse of TOR.
Yeah, I think the main issue about TOR, TOR basically is supposed to refine crude oil into the various petroleum products for the Ghanaian market. And as you are aware, for the past 5 to 6 years now, the refinery has been struggling to run its own core business, that is refining crude oil. And I think for this year alone, from January to July, as we speak, all the plants have been shut down. We were only able to run for cumulatively within this year for about 3 weeks to 4 weeks. So that is now. And all this basically has to do with our inability to produce crude oil and process. And it's been very, very difficult for the company as we speak. Things are not the way it's supposed to be because we are not processing. I think that is where we today as we speak.
I see. And this inability to refine oil or crude at TOR is as a result of lack of funds.
Yes, basically that is all it's about it. We have the fund readily available as a company to do that business. So we rely on the banks, the local banks, and to some extent some foreign banks. But as you said in your earlier intro, because of the Bank of Ghana directive on foreign estate transactions, all the banks, even the banks that are willing to help the company establish LC for the crude oil procurement, are now reluctant or are not willing to do because Bank of Ghana says
I believe we get that bit quite well. What I'm confused about is you're not operating. What from the 350,000 Ghana cedis daily loss?
Yeah, no, that loss is this. We are saying if the plants were running, we would have been making a profit of about $350,000. I think that is the explanation to that. We are not running, so fine. That means we are not doing anything, so we won't get that money. But if we were running, we would have been making beyond our normal operations and all that. What will be left for us for other things as margins on whatever productions that we do and other activities, we would have been saving or making additional $350,000 on daily basis.
I see. Out of curiosity, though, Daniel. What do you do then when you go to work?
Interestingly, the plant itself, that is the crude distillation unit, and then the CDU unit, RFCC units are not in operation. But we have other activities that are ongoing.
Such as?
That is what I was coming to, such as managing other companies' products. So we stock other companies' products and then deliver same into the market. So loading from thermal oil refinery is ongoing, and other engineering service. As the plants are down, we have to be doing some remedial work, because if you leave them down, they will rust, because they are metals, they will rust, and then it will create further problems. So we have maintenance people, technical people who are doing some maintenance work, some jobs that will keep the physical plant in shape in case we are ready to take off. Then we have it ready. So for now, all the plants are ready, and the other activities are what I've said earlier on.
And so you provide storage for...
we provide
for instance, for BOST?
Not per se, but for other BDCs. That's the bulk oil distributing companies.
Is that a core mandate of TOR?
No, those are not our core mandates. But because the situation we find ourselves in now, we have to survive as a company. So we take up some of those responsibilities. And it wants you to know, the BDCs, the bulk oil distribution companies that are licensed by NTA to operate, at the last count, we have about 22 of them. Out of those 22, only 4 has their own storage facilities and other auxiliary facilities to operate as a BDC. The remaining ones don't have their own facilities, so they depend on others. And we have found ourselves to be one of those companies that has a facility for them to use. So that is what it is now. And we have a facility that is even the 4 companies that has the storage capacities. Our capacities compared to all of them, we have more than what they have. So those companies depend on us for storage, and then we
in other words, there's nothing wrong with providing storage for BDCs.
For now, there is nothing wrong with it. But if the plants were running, I don't think we have any business doing that for any other company. But because today we are not running, that is why we find ourselves providing that services for those companies.
Daniel, thank you very much for your time. Daniel Fuga is chairman for the TOR Workers Association. Now, while he finds nothing wrong with providing storage for BDCs at the Tema Oil Refinery in the face of the shutdown, Member of Parliament for Tema East constituency, Daniel Ni Quartet Hightos Glover thinks otherwise. He says government must ensure that the Tema Oil Refinery is revitalized to start refining crude oil. Speaking on the AM show, in response to staff concern about government, in report staff concern that government was deliberately running down the facility, the Tema East MP wondered why government has allowed the refinery to be turned into a storage depot for bulk distribution companies.
The place is turned into a storage tanks. All their tanks are being used to store these refined products that are being imported into the country. Because these bulk distribution companies, that's what they do. They import the finished goods and put into TOR, and they just pay a pittance into the refinery. I've put up a question before we even rose. I wanted the energy minister to tell me what in Parliament, why government is not supporting the refinery in the importation of crude. Lo and behold, this morning we are here and the workers are asking government support. Letters of credit. My colleagues will be saying that yes, when MPP was in power, we were collecting this store recovery levy. Yes, we collected a lot of money and we paid all these monies. There were some few that weren't paid. But since they came in 2009, we continue to pay store recovery levy. What has been generated for these levies? What are they using these monies to do? So I'm sure if government tells us the true sincerity of this matter, wouldn't have gotten to where we are now. When His Excellency the President was in Parliament, I recall him saying that they wanted to partner Saudi Arabian company to revamp Tor and all that, blah, blah, blah. But until they come, what do? Former President Rawlings, in his time, when Mr. Parker was the chief executive, that is when they brought the residual fluid catalytic cracker, the RFCC machine, was installed. And when we came under KK Sapong, they worked so hard to pay off the loan that Rawlings and Parker had to put up that machine. KK Sapong did so many things. They built what they call a new storage tanks for the gas. They got a new boiler station, a new fire tender station. They changed the pipeline. So many things were done. So what has changed? And when you shut down the RFCC or the crude dissolution unit, it's going to cost you money to start it. And when you want to shut it down, it costs you money. Now in the story, it is telling that they lose 350,000 cedis a day. So look at the quantum of money that have been spent. So I think that this Tor matter, the government must really sit up and support that refinery to let it work. Other than that, we are only putting money in the pocket of private people.
Meanwhile, a former member of Parliament for Infantsiman East, George Kuntu Blankson, who was also on the same show, reiterated government was committed to retooling the facility to start production. He implored workers not to always go to the public when they have issues, but speak to the government first.
The solution is what we are looking for. The workers are crying that they should be granted the permission for them to also import the crude as it is, so that they refine. Exactly so. But as you know, when you refine the crude, there are a lot of byproducts you will get. And we know. That is why I think the president said that they are looking for a partnership, institution to come and partner the Toy refinery, so that it will not be ad hoc measure, a measure that will have a lasting solution to the problem. You understand? Because you as a worker standing behind, maybe that is your point of view that, oh, when we're able to get LC, we'll be able to do this. But taking in the perspective of national interest, the one government may see that that is not the solution to the problem. So all what I would suggest to the workers that it's not a matter of going on demonstration. It's a matter of meeting the president or meeting the minister concerned and put their problem before him that, Massa, you said this is what is going to happen. We have waited for a long while. Things are not happening. So what is there? You understand? So when the minister or whoever represents the government insofar as this Tor business is concerned is there, then they tell you what is in the kitty or what is in the pipeline. Then when you get to know it, then you can have a stand to say that, oh, this is the way forward. I think it will be the best interest of the nation. You understand? Because as you are employed there, the whole establishment belongs to the state, and the state is being managed by somebody else. You understand? So I think we should not manage the situation in a manner that at the end of the day, even the partners that they are going to talk to them, they say, hey, where am I going? The place I'm going is on fire. You see, at times there are certain situations that scares investors. You see, there are so many ways you can manage issues than always going public.
Well, the National Insurance Commission has developed new guidelines to compel insurance companies to pay claims that have been established as genuine within 7 days. According to the Commission, the guidelines will help to boost confidence in an industry that has over the years been battered by claims redemption challenges which have left many people in pain, affecting confidence and trust in insurance companies. The National Insurance Commission contends that implementation of the no premium, no cover policy has made cash-strapped insurers solvent, which has positioned them well to respond appropriately to claims when they fall due. Transport Minister Jifar Tivo says expansion works on the Kotoka International Airport arrival hall is expected to be completed by December. According to her, procurement process, she noted, was ongoing for construction of new terminals 3 at the airport. On the Kumasi Airport expansion, she said the move will allow flights land at night upon completion.
Currently, we are expanding the arrival hall, and this should be ready before Christmas. It will be ready before Christmas. We're also going to build a new terminal, which is Terminal 3, towards at the area towards Accra, towards Afgo area. Let me just say Afgo area. Yeah, so the procurement process is ongoing now. We have done a lot at the Kumasi Airport. You know, we used to have some challenges, the cracks and all that. We have almost completed that project. And the interesting thing for Kumasi is that when all the work is complete, there will be night flights. Currently, you cannot fly by night. We will start the installation of the ground lighting by the middle of August, and we expect to finish before Christmas. We have already done quite a lot on the extension, and we've also installed a landing instrument to guide the pilot. You know, most of the time when there's a fog around the airport, the flights are not able to either take off or land. But this system will guide the pilot to land accurately. So that's an improvement on the Kumasi Airport.
That's it for what's trending in business. Multiple award-winning Ghanaian rapper Sarkodie says he feels humbled by the recognition he received from the Black Entertainment Television last month. The rapper became the first Ghanaian to be inducted into the BET Hall of Fame in June for his advancement of hip-hop music.
Sarkodie's induction into the BET Hall of Fame followed his second nomination for a BET award this year. He jointly won the award for Best African Act at the BET in 2012 with Nigeria's Wizkid. And although he was nominated for the same award this year, Nigeria's Davido snatched it. But Sarkodie nonetheless managed to get a star with his name in the BET Hall of Fame, a gesture he relishes greatly.
They did that for all the nominees, which I was involved. I was a nominee, so they just did that for all of us, like a welcome. And then they did that on the floor for us to know that we're that important to them. And that's why I actually took a picture of it. I was overwhelmed, so yeah, I just thought it was a good thing. And big up to BET. It gave us a good opportunity from the platform itself to the interviews and everything. And even that you talked about, so that actually shows you how deep they take us. Yeah, so.
Sarkodie at the weekend joined colleague rapper EL for his BAR concert, his first performance in Ghana since attending the BET LA event in June. The rapper, whose current collaboration with Castro has received extra mileage in recent times, told Showbiz he came back home as soon as he could upon hearing the news about the latter's disappearance.
It's almost like what everybody knows. That's why I actually came back from UK, because I heard it myself, and then I'm still down, but all I know is all you know as well. We're just feeding off the vibe we get on the TV and internet, so I'm not too specific on what's happening. Yeah, so that's all I can say about it.
You're watching the news today. Here are headlines. Strike in Polytechnic Teachers Association of Ghana tell Joy News a meeting on Tuesday with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education was positive. National Insurance Commission develops new guidelines to compel insurance companies to pay claims that have been established as genuine within 7 days. Log on to MindYourOnline.com for some more news. That'll be all from me for now. See you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of our broadcast. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano.